Welcome to another episode of exploration of AI generation. In this episode, we're going to look into video generation. So we can see here a lot of nice, high quality, stable video generation there, and this is something we want to achieve here. So let's look at the workflow first. So in the workflow, we have the prompt there, where we start with. What the new model we have is the Hunyuan model there. This is the new model that enables us to have very stable video generation with AI. So this is the new model that we're going to be exploring. Still, with the new model and with just the prompt, it's hard to describe what we want to see there in the video generation. So this is where a reference image makes a difference, where if we give it a reference image, it's going to help us with the prompt generate the video that we would like to see. And this is where it becomes interesting. Not just a hope to get something we want, but higher chance of getting what we want with the image that we could give it as a reference. Beyond that, I'm going to give 3 iterative steps that would help generate video efficiently. The preview input step, the preview motion step, and finally the full step generation. This would help us to generate video in a very efficient manner so that we don't waste a lot of time. So preview inputs first. This is the first step. This is where we enter all the inputs, right? The reference image that we see there, we only have one. We enter the prompt. We play around with it there. We try different things, different image, different prompt, and we go to the sampler here. This is where the processing all happens, and this is important to put a very small frame count. You want, small step count and small frame count to really rapidly see what we're getting with the input that we're entering there. And if we don't like what we see, we change the prompt, we change the reference image, and we try again, right? Until we get what we think we want there, right? So in this case, you can see here we have some generation. We try again, we get different generation, and if we feel this is decent enough, like what we want, even though it's low res, that's normal, but we can move on to the next step, which is more the motion. Now that we feel we have a good prompt and a good reference image, let's boost up the number of frames there so that we have a preview of what the motion is going to be looking like. Again, it's not going to be the same as what we saw in the preview, but it's going to be very similar to it. But the motion we're going to be getting, it's probably going to be very close to the final there. So we're going to do a fast forward here, really rapidly, just to see what we're getting. So with a high frame count, we can see here, this is what we're getting as a full motion preview. And then we do this for many seeds. So we generate many versions of this there. So change the seed to have different output, and we increase the batch queue there, the batch count, so that there's a lot of different video motion preview. Once we have a bunch of them, then we do the full step there, the full generation. This is the longest step, but with all the preview we have there, let's say we like this one there, with the right click, we load that specific preview. So we like this motion. Let's go ahead and do the full generation with the full step count. The full step count would enable very high detail version of this video, but will take a lot of time to generate. So that's why we do this as a very, very last step there. So let's run this high frame count and high step count to see what we get. So let's skip this generation time there, because it takes a lot of time for this final step there. So we can see this is the final generation, very high quality video there that we have. That's very, very consistent. It took me 10 minutes to generate this there with the GTX 3090 there, right, with 24 gig of VRAM. So let's do an overview here, right? So we can see the whole workflow here. I'm going to go through the whole workflow. We have the bottom left, the image reference. In this case, we only had one, but We could add a second one if we wanted to. It's important to understand that in the text prompt there has to have some good match there with the reference image. We can also do the text only version on the top there. And I have the way of switching between one or the other, right? The one with the image reference or with text only. We have LoRa's as we have usually there. If you want to generate something that is very specific, add those LoRa there to help. And we have those iterative steps, the 3-step that it's all in the middle section there with the steps and the different number of frames. We have the outputs, and then we have the upscale. The upscale I'll talk about at the end. It's just a generic upscale process where it connects with the output image there. But that's really when we get something we like, we can then proceed to the upscale. It's the last step, if optionally if needed. So let's do now a full run of the full workflow from A to Z, so we can see how this is being done there. So let's try to generate a cat, right? Some nice cat there. So that's always fun to do. Let's go to the reference image. We can see here I put one reference image, a nice cat image there. I did not do a second image reference. Look at the prompt here, very generic prompt, cute cat. I put one image reference, the image reference there. If I had two, I would have put two image reference in the text prompt. Now I put a note here so that we can reroute between the text only version, or we can do with the image reference. So it's a easy switch between one or the other there. So that's useful. In this case, because cat generation is very generic there, so I didn't use any LoRa on the left there. So let's zoom in a bit into the selected models for the Hunyuan. So right here you can see I have the V loader for the Hunyuan. Every download link will be on the bottom there. You have also the fast video model being used and the quantization for the faster. Now using the fast version is very important because it allows us to have the quick preview, right? So at low step there, within 3-step only, you have a decent view of what to expect there for the motion. Here at high stability, high resolution, I mean, you have also something very good at only 15 steps. So that's an important element. So no LoRa used in this case, but they can simply just enable them and add them as needed. And here, the important key step here, again, low number of frame count, low number of step count, just to rapidly, I put a 4 increment seed so that every time it generates, it increment the seeds there, and I batch queue it, right? So I can have multiple generation. And I let it run. I'm gonna probably fast forward this or just skip there. Yeah, just fast forward so we can see the different cat image that I'm getting there as a preview, right? So I have a bunch here. They look fine, they look good. So I think my reference image and my prompt is good enough. Again, it depends on what we're trying to achieve here. I'm gonna pick one here, but you don't have to pick any because again, this is just a preview. It's not gonna represent exactly what's gonna be looking at the end. But let's pick one because it looks nice. Now that we have a good prompt and good reference, we don't touch input anymore. Now it's just a matter of playing with the those 3 iterative steps, right? So now we're gonna increase the frame count so that we have a preview of the motion, right? I mean, we want to get a good motion for our final video. We don't want to generate a full video high step and then realize the motion is not good. So that's why we're generating with the high motion preview. So this is the result of a high motion preview. Again, where we can do many of these there, right, to get what we want. But let's say this cat movement looks cute there. That's good enough. Now let's go to the final step, increasing the step count. Right, so let's queue this there. This is the high frame number, high step count. And you can see here, this is the high quality video we're getting there. Nice motion like we saw in the preview there. Not identical, but similar to it there. And the high quality cat that we're getting there with the high quality resolution. As a final step here, I'm going to show the upscale there. Again, this is just a generic upscale of a video, but I mean, since we're at it, I'm just gonna add to it there. In this case, I didn't link them to the other workflow. I just load the video directly, usually because we have a lot of video generated there. And at the end, we're going to choose which one we actually want to upscale. And then you just run it, right? I'm going to fast forward there so we can rapidly see the upscale happening. There we go. And another upscale there, right? So it's hard to see in this video, the difference in the different upscale there, but once you do it yourself and also which resolution you chose there, you'll see the increase of resolution and the upscale being done there. But it's very nice. It's a very nice workflow, very high consistency, and that's something that we wanted to do before, and it was a bit of a pain before to do. In this case, we don't have any control net yet, so it is what it is, what we have there. But with these 3 iterative steps there, I'm sharing with you something that's going to look very nice at the end there. And as a bonus section, again, as usual there, I'm sharing the different video I generated while I was learning this new model video generation there. So some cats. Different style also. I mean, it all depends on the LoRa or the prompt or the reference image that you put there. So really, it's up to you to decide. So thank you very much, and I hope you learned something new today with that video generation there. And good luck with all the generation you're going to be doing there. Tell me more if you're able to generate anything cool, and I'll be seeing you around.